Do you have any idea how good it is to be a Spider-Man fan right now? We've got Venom, Spider-Verse, that PS4 game, 2 movies back to back with Spider-Man himself in them for the MCU, and then we get Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 giving us the possibility of a whole Spidey people team. I am thrilled! But hey, what is this, a Spider-Man gushing video? Nah, it's a review of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. We'll get to gushing about Spidey in another video, so welcome to How Hard Could It Be, where I go through the process of how hard it is to do this whole YouTube thing. I'll be your resident Nick Fury for this video, organizing everything and getting it all together to throw onto your screen. There will be a minimal amount of spoilers in the video, so feel free to enjoy, even if you haven't played the game. So, how is this game? What does it feature? What the hell even is it? Well, first of all, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, as a series, spans what you would call comic book events. The first game was all about Doctor Doom calling together the Masters of Evil and conquering Earth. The second was of course centered around the Civil War event. Now we have Ultimate Alliance 3 that gives us yet another interpretation of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, and quite an interesting one at that, I might add. As far as storylines go, this one gives us some interesting twists, especially right around the end. I won't give anything else away, so there will have to be a measure of trust here, but I will say that I quite enjoyed it. The three main aspects of storytelling in this game, cutscenes, quieter talking moments, and in-game event moments are all pretty solid and are easily understood and enjoyed. There isn't too much to leave to interpretation, which depending on who you are and how you enjoy your tales, is a point in its favor. I see this as an instant classic for families who want to play together. The first was for me as well, so I'll admit to that amount of bias. Of course, combat and gameplay are important, so let's get that out of the way now. There's a lot here, so
hold on to your butts.
The Marvel Ultimate Alliance series specializes in an isometric view beat-em-up type combat. Each character has the ability to jump, dodge, block, and make two different types of attack, light and heavy. Jumping is important to leap over area of effect damage and to get up into higher areas. Dodging or blocking allows you to mitigate or negate damage and get out of the way of heavy assaults. The two attack types have different leanings. Heavy attacks will do more damage to the enemy's stamina bar, and light attacks are better for repeated impacts to stunned enemies. However, both will serve you well when you use them properly. All characters get 4 special abilities earned through leveling them up, with the first free of charge. Each ability has different effects and damage types and have their details displayed in the team menu. On top of the basics, characters can synergize with one another. When one character attacks with an ability, you can team up with them, usually with similar abilities, and do more damage or generally be more effective. These abilities will expand your energy bar, and using normal attacks will refill the bar as well as the little blue lights on the field. Normal attacks and abilities will fill up a third yellow bar that will circle your character portrait. By using the L and R button at the same time, you can do an extreme attack, expending the bar for a big cinematic ability. Repeatedly tapping the combo will trigger your allies to do the same. With friends, using these synergies may be a challenge of communication. With AIs, one only needs to use the ZR trigger button to force a nearby AI to synergize an ability. You can also automatically synergize by using the A button. While in combat, you can easily switch between your team members by using the D-pad style buttons, or while using a single Joy-Con by pressing in your movement stick to rotate through your options. Let's talk characters. Who can you play as? Well, there's an amount of spoilers, so I'll just put it this way. You get 36 characters to play with, and 4 of those are actually villains, with Venom being one of them. There's an interspersal of voice lines in the game, some of those during gameplay and some where you can talk to characters as they stand around in hub areas, usually before, between, or after set pieces. It will depend on the story situation whether those are characters you are currently playing or ones with certain story reasons to be involved. All characters you play as will level up, unlocking a few different options with them. First, you can always use XP cubes to boost a character's level. This is so you can bring them up to par with your other party heroes, level up side heroes for use in later challenges, or just to overlevel yourself for fun. You will also be able to rank your abilities, and later in the game you'll be able to equip them with crystals for additional boosts. Characters have a range of synergies with certain aspects being health, strength, mastery, resistance, defense, and energy, all pertaining to different parts of the game in certain ways. But hey, where do you play in this beat-em-up game? Levels are constructed in 2 ways. First, you have the chapters. There are 10 total, and each of these chapters contain various levels that you will explore through. The environments are pretty fun to play in, and are full of detail. They will have throwable objects, some that you can bash for various currencies, and some that you can hide behind. On top of that are the secret walls you can break with the ability synergies in order to access special crates. A chapter will usually be ended by a cutscene and will usually have a moment where you can talk to the characters, along with one standing with an exclamation point to act as your chapter trigger. The only exception to this is the first tutorial chapter. Through the main menu you can also go back and replay chapters, whether it's to get more experience and various other goodies, or just for fun. Additionally, there is the Infinity levels, unlocked through finding Infinity Rifts. These give you additional rewards for fighting through various created levels. These usually mix baddies from other areas of the game into different environments, including bosses. These challenge levels come with restrictions and bonuses of various types, but also can give you more points towards certain currencies, higher ranked crystals, and even costumes. These were personally some of my favorite things to play through, but also some of the toughest challenges. You can get around the toughness of these, however, by simply overleveling yourself, which is nice. Additionally, if you're required to go through a level solo, the hidden walls will allow you through simply by using the right ability. Alright, so what is the value proposition of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 as a whole? Well, personally, I really enjoy the graphics. The character adaptations are all pretty good. There's a few design choices that I don't like as much as others, but there are other ones, such as the medievally armored Green Goblin, that I genuinely enjoy a lot. The characters react pretty well. I mostly only had user error hold me back. The controls take a little getting used to, but once you do, it's fairly easy to adapt into any situation. Like I said before, I really enjoyed the story, and while I may do some cutscene skipping when I want to just pop into the action, I do like watching them play out as well. The combat itself may have some issues with balance and frustration. I can only hope that they'll be ironed out in patches. For now, it's good enough for me. If you struggle, remember that you can always go back and level up your characters with EXP cubes or just by replaying past story areas. Speaking of, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 also has a decent amount of replayability. Whether you want to tackle higher difficulties or just want a game to play with your family, especially younger players, going back into the game is easy as pie. There's very little to forget, and you can easily pick up or skip past parts you don't like as much, and the lab gives you a reason to go back in, allowing you a larger meta area to level up your crew as a whole. The game isn't perfect though. You can easily find yourself getting knocked about by mooks, running away from what should be some of the easier enemies, and there are boss battles that are a little overcrowded with hazards. The enemy's stamina mechanic makes things really difficult when you're underleveled, leaving you with few options other than to hope that your energy bar fills up. This is fixable by going back and leveling your characters up, as I've stated in the past multiple times, but it does hurt the natural flow. The game is admittedly a little short in comparison to some experiences, but the bite-sized nature may lend itself to the shorter attention spans of kids. The only other caveat that comes to this game, in my opinion, is the Switch exclusivity. It's a shame it didn't come out for other consoles, but in a lot of ways, it is a perfect game for the Switch. The controls are so simple that you can easily share it around with just the Joy-Cons, but also benefit from having a larger controller. The large array of characters means that almost anyone can find somebody to play as, and picking up or dropping out is easily managed mid-mission. The multitude of shield points means you can easily get to a point to swap out characters for your friends or family, meaning no one gets left out. Overall, I think I'll give this game a 9 out of 10, considering what it's trying to be. A fun comic book adventure with great engaging story and a plethora of characters to choose from. I had a pretty bug-free experience, but that might come from me not trying to break the game. I had a great time with the game as a whole, even with my own mild frustrations that come with some of the content, but I won't let my own issues knock a good game down. You can expect me to review the DLC when it comes out, the first and fall of this year. I'll see you then, true believers. Now comes the part where I go through how hard this video was to make. So, how hard was it? Well, first thing is the Switch capture. First step is to have a Switch. I bought one a few months ago for the release of Smash Bros, so that step is covered. But how to record? Well, I got myself a capture card. We went with the Nix, a moderately cheap option, only cost $100 or so. So how does this nifty bit of tech work? Well, the USB end goes into the computer, or in my case a hub. I take an HDMI cord from the Switch mount into the inside of the capture card. Then we open up OBS and start the process of making a new capture. Make a new scene, then from there you make a new capture. Select video capture, automatically get the card up there, and save it as a scene. Then you're ready to play, stream, record, etc. Or that's what I thought. My audio wasn't getting captured at all at first for any of my recordings. I made a specific audio capture, but when I did that, the audio had this weird stutter to it. Here, listen.
The Infinity Stones needs to be our first priority, but actually using them is our last resort.
Apparently, I just had too much running on the computer for it to record properly. Coming back later with less stuff running at the same time and it fixed itself up. And amusingly, for this bit, I used the OBS to capture the OBS. From there, it's the normal method of going through and playing the game. This time around, I was actually able to complete a playthrough and even get about halfway into playing another. Thanks to the capture system, I was able to go back and record bits from the first 2 chapters so I can avoid spoilers on the off chance anyone watching this gives a hoot about that. I did have the opportunity to do a little co-op play, but for the most part, I played through on my own. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you'd collect the Infinity Stones, do the Venom Wiggle, throw bombs at the Goblin, and ruin Taco Tuesday like a big red
Language!